Hey everybody, welcome back to Suck Less Saturday. I am Neil. Do you think about things other than your gun very often? Let's talk about that with somebody special.
You need a shot timer because that which gets measured gets worked on. The Range Tech Timer is the official timer of active self-protection because it is versatile, reliable, feature-rich, and very economical. Check out all it can do at the link below.
Hey everybody, I want to introduce you to one of my heroes and the hero of my son, Cody. This is the legendary lawman, Chuck Haggard. You guys have seen him on the channel before. I don't get to hang out with this guy near enough, but this guy is the real deal. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
It always sounds braggadocious.
I know. See, that's why this is why we love this guy.
So, been a cop for 34 years now. I'm working on my third department that I've worked for. Have one retirement, but I'm told that I'm bad at retiring. So, and I'm staying busy in the training field. Post-COVID, things have been really, really busy. So
Yeah.
training's coming back online. That's super cool.
Yeah, it is amazing. So we're in Grand Junction, Colorado for the National Girl with a Gun Conference. There were about 500 ladies showed up for this thing, and most of it was like chapter leaders and a few chapter members. And we taught on bays right next to each other all weekend. Steph and I were here. Steph actually ran our stuff. This has been really kind of a cool thing. I'm excited to come back. I think I hope they have us back. It was a lot of fun.
Me too. Me
too. So, Chuck, talk a little bit about. We want to talk about some situational awareness stuff. And you just spent the weekend teaching women about some different things, and this is on your heart right now. So let's talk about what can we give people to work on this week.
So I had a pistol class. I just did a revolver class. So my in-between class was billed as a pepper spray class. But what it mainly was how to introduce tools into the environment of managing unknown contacts, to steal a term from my friend Craig Douglas of ShivWorks. So to manage an unknown contact, to deal with potential street crime in progress or somebody targeting you that in a criminal aspect, a criminal assault paradigm on the street, first thing you got to do is you got to see it coming. To see it coming, you have to have situational awareness. Well, you can't just say, I'm going to have situational awareness. This is a soft skill that we practice just like any other skill that we practice. So what I would like people to start thinking about is where crime happens is in transitional spaces. Say you go to the grocery store, you normally don't have to worry about ninjas coming out of the ceiling and getting you in the middle of, getting eggs or something like that. So where do things like this happen? When you leave the store, now you're in transition to your vehicle. So you have to safely get out of the store, transition to your vehicle, get your vehicle loaded, leave the lot. When you do something like go to a convenience store, you got to pull up the gas pumps, you got to get gas, you got to safely get in and out of there. So these transitional spaces are like urban watering holes. If you have the lions on the Serengeti, they don't just randomly wander around. They look for, like they wait at the water hole for the wildebeest to show up or something like that. And one that's not paying attention, or look for the one with the limp or something like that. Urban predator behavior is pretty similar for criminals. So what I like people to think about is the concept, I'm not sure where I robbed this from, but what's important now, or when, W-I-N. When I leave the store, what's important now? Safely getting into my car, get loaded getting in and out of that transitional space where it's a higher risk space. Not updating my Facebook along the way, or I got to take a selfie. I don't know, whatever people do. They're so engaged in their electronic whoopee that they're not paying attention to their environment. So what I would like people to think about is how often they go from in and out of transitional spaces, which are these danger areas where street crime occurred, and they have to have their radar up and on. If you're flying out there as a fighter pilot and you turn your radar off, it doesn't matter how cool your plane is, how good your missiles are, you'll just never see it coming. And that's where a lot of the crime victims, I've had to interview hundreds and hundreds of crime victims, robberies, carjackings, things like that in the past, and the vast majority of them had some sort of story that was, oh my God, it all happened so fast, he just came out of nowhere. Well, dude didn't beam down from outer space. He saw that person, selected that person, moved into that person, got into a space where they could criminally victimize that person, be it a carjacking, purse snatching, mugging, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And what it was they just never saw it coming. Bad guys are looking for that. So think about the concept, what's important now. Think about the concept of transitional spaces. Think about the concept of working as a physical skill enhancing your situational awareness in these areas.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I had a situation where I pulled into a gas station not too long ago as I was driving home from Phoenix, of all places. I took a stupid road, 24-hour road trip. I pull into a gas station, I am tired, and I just look around and I see the guy standing there, and literally the second he sees my pickup, he pops up off the wall, and when I get out of the pickup, he starts walking right at me. And I'm like, I don't know what this is all about. And I'm gonna tell you what I did, and then you tell me what I messed up, okay? So I looked him right in the eye, because I carry when I travel. I've got my pepper spray. I feel like I've got my tools, and I noticed him. And the first thing I did before I got the pickup was to see if there's anybody else with him. And then he started walking literally right towards me. We were about 8 car spaces apart because he had to come across the parking lot. And I looked him dead in the eye. I'm like, hey, how's it going? And as soon as I did that, he didn't respond to me. He just turned and walked the other way. I don't know if that was a threat. I don't know if it was anything bad. He might have been walking to go somewhere else. I don't know, but my spidey sense went off. Is that a scenario that you tell people? Is that the right thing to do, the wrong thing to do, or does it matter?
No, there's nothing wrong with that. And you picked it up at long range, outside of what Craig would traditionally call like a muck scenario, where you're in closer. So I like to pick things up as far out as possible, and then deal with it, or not deal, or avoid it as far out as possible. If you're walking down the street and you see somebody across the street and they're cutting catty corner across the street to try to end up in an intercept course, you can see that coming a long way off if you're paying attention.
Right.
Things like that. I think what he gave you was a shark bump. So great white shark is swimming through the ocean and it sees a whale. Whale's not moving. Well, is the whale taking a nap, or did the whale die of a heart attack? So if the whale died of a heart attack, he's got a buffet. But if the whale's taking a nap and he tries to go have lunch, that whale's going to kick his butt, right? So what a shark will do is bump its potential prey to gauge a level of threat or how much fight they're going to get in return. That guy, Dr. William April, our friend William April, that's sadly no longer with us, used to talk about part of what you have in a robbery or street robbery or something like that is a lot of times you've showed up for an interview and you're being interviewed for the position of crime victim or robbery victim. So what it sounds like happened to you is you failed the interview. It's the opposite of a job interview. You want to fail this interview, not win this interview. No. So it sounds like what you did was failed the interview successfully. The guy's like, oh, he sees me coming. This isn't going to be a good deal for me.
Right. Well, and I think, as soon as I step out of the pickup, I'm not a tiny little person, and that might have been part of it as well. What would you tell the average Joe pulling up to the gas station to do before they get out? Do you have any advice there?
One of the things I do is I don't pull right up. I will pull onto the lot, and a lot of times you have to do it anyway, but I will cruise around the lot and then get a look at the whole thing, sides of the building, things like that. I'll actually look in the store. Is the clerk in the middle of getting robbed? Maybe I rolled into an armed robbery in progress already, Do you want to walk in on that? No. So I will cruise the lot, pull around, get a pretty good look at it, and then pull into the gas pump that's most advantageous to me. Of course, if it's the middle of the day and it's crowded, I'm in a truck stop, something like that. Obviously far less risk, but when you have to do these, I got to stop in the middle of the night to get gas, that's where things really get dicey. So I will pull in to the pump that is the most advantageous to me for lighting, positioning, things like that, and probably farthest away from the building or any other, like one of those dumpster, the little fence dumpster things a lot of places have, away from these places that could be points of concealment for a bad guy.
There you go.
So I will recon my area before I commit to that.
Perfect.
One of the things I do when I walk into a convenience store, I don't just walk straight up to what I want to do. Most of them have a counter and then some aisles. I'll actually cut and go down. I'll hit that hard wall and I'll look down all the aisles. I'll make sure I see the clerk's not being, robbed or held at gunpoint in a beer cooler or something like that. Then I'll make my way around the store and pick up what I want, then go check out. So I do a little recon on the way to. People often aren't thinking about, is it safe to do what I'm about to do? And they have blinders on. Well, I'm just going to go straight to the thing that I want to do.
I'm going to get my Mountain Dew, my Doritos, and go.
So I will recon the lot. I will recon the convenience. It takes 10 seconds, to do something like that. And it puts me in the mindset, and actively puts me in the mindset of, is this safe for me to do this now? Okay, it's safe for me to do this now, so I'm going to do the thing. And since I habituate myself to that, it's very easy to do, and it just becomes second nature.
Right on. So, I think what we see from a lot of folks is they're like, hey, don't live your life in paranoia. That's not paranoia. That's being aware.
No.
And so you're not walking in all gunned up and ready to go. You're just, hey, I'm just looking around to see what's going on and be ready for these things. So I think the assignment for this week to suck less, when you fill up with gas, because you're probably going to have to go get gas, just do once around the lot, just check everything out and find the pump that is most advantageous to you. And then when you walk in to pay, if you walk in to pay, or if you walk in for your Mountain Dew and Doritos, because who doesn't like those, and just walk in, just look around, pay attention. Don't be looking at your phone when you're walking around there, right?
So, thing I want to end with is you're talking about all paranoia, and people think, oh my God, what? I don't want to think like that. I know it's a horrible lifestyle. Having my situational awareness during this trip is because it's wonderful. You can see the scenery and everything. So in this trip, I've seen gorgeous sunsets, gorgeous sunrises. I've seen a rainbow. I've seen bighorn sheep on the mountain. Driving along. Because I've got my radar on, I get to see all of this stuff that so many people miss. So I'm not just where's the bad guys. I'm just aware. And then you pick up the good stuff with the bad stuff.
And when you're paying attention, you really get to pick up more good stuff. The bad stuff is pretty rare. It's unlikely most of that's going to happen, but the chances of it happening are there. And, taking William April's class that we took, we were very lucky to do that. And that's one of the things I remember from that is, just pay attention. Live your life, but pay attention. And that was a big lesson.
But I thought I would throw this out there because when I tell people, pay attention, have situational awareness. Well, how do I do that?
Yeah, exactly.
These are things that you can practice. That's how you do that.
Yeah. So it's not paranoia. It's just looking around. Be aware. Be in the moment. You know what? If we're staring at our phone, we're not in the moment. And a selfie isn't a bad thing. I love a good selfie. I'm going to take one here in just a second with Chuck, right? So a selfie is a good time. But you know what? We're in the right place for that. Probably wouldn't do that in downtown after dark and all of that kind of stuff. It's just not a wise idea. So. All right. Well, hey, I really appreciate it, man. It's so much fun to see you. Chuck's going to be at our national conference again, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I hope so. If you guys want to come spend some time with this guy, it is worth every cent for you to show up. And you're doing a good thing for some foster kids. We'll have a link for the conference in there. But guys, this is a great way to suck less. This is an easy lesson. All you got to do is pay attention. Try that out when you're filling up with gas this week. Thanks a lot. Suck less.